Hi friends, Jen here with Serenity Hill Farmstead. I still kind of barely have a voice. We had the flu, it was so fun. And I just from coughing, I have done a number on my voice here and it's just having a hard time coming back. So you're gonna have to forgive the coughing and the raspiness because it is what it is. So we are obviously on the farm today. I am starting to get some things done. I am super excited for this. I have been not optimistic about getting the planting going this year just because, I mean, it's March. We don't plant until May and it's March. But I'm seeing a lot of other farms out here, they're disking and they're getting things ready to plant. And usually when they start doing certain kinds of soil ground preparations, within 2 weeks they've got their seed in the ground, they're planted. While they are commercial farms that are doing corn and soybeans, and we are not that. I still do kind of, keep an eye on what other farms are doing and just to get an idea, because, I know with certain practices that we have to have certain conditions for certain crops to grow. And there's a lot of wisdom in old farmers, even if they're not planting the same crop that I'm planting. There's a lot of wisdom there, and there's a lot to be learned just by observing them. So I keep an eye on it. So I am going to take the chance with a couple of our crops and I'm going to plant. So 2 things that I'm gonna plant right now are, not right now, but very soon, are German chamomile, because I direct sow that, and St. John's wort. And the St. John's wort, if I have my torch, I have a torch, but I don't know if it might be dead. I might need a refill on it. If I have my torch, then I can go ahead, and I can plant the St. John's wort in the ground, because that's just a tiny little seed and we just direct sow that. But I have this awesome new tool that I got as a Christmas gift. This is a broad fork. Isn't it lovely? I am so excited for it. Super excited for it. But I got this as a Christmas present. I have been wanting one for a long time. There we go. And we finally got one. This is from Meadow Creature. Really excited with this one. Now, the reason I got this one, because there are several different types of broad forks out there. You can get them from some farm stores and some hardware stores. In fact, I believe that Home Depot was one of the ones that did sell broad forks. So I got the 4-tine broad fork. I don't remember how long. They 14 inches? I think they might be 14 inches. But the reason I went with the Meadow Creature, I keep forgetting the name of the company. The reason I went with the Meadow Creature, which by the way, not affiliated at all, was for 2 reasons. The poles and the way the welding work is done in here. I did not want a fiberglass pole. My husband was the one that pointed this out to me. He's like, okay, you do not want that. I said, why? He says, because you leave stuff outside. I said, yeah, you're right. Fiberglass is gonna not weather as well. These are steel. Yes, we have some rusting issues, but these are also coated, they're painted. So I'm not too worried about the rusting. The other thing was the welding work that's going through here. This piece here, this is going to bear the brunt of the weight when you are cranking back on this sucker. So if you only have these supports that stop here, or even worse, they're back here, right at this connection, it's gonna break. These are gonna break off. We don't want that. I want years and years of use out of this thing. So I went with the tines that is called, I think it's called full tine. I'm not 100%, full tang. On a knife, it's full tang. So, but it's the same kind of thing where it's like one solid piece that goes way up, and the tines will support into the bar and the bar will support the tines. So it's just more of a one fluid piece. The welding work is wonderful on this. It looks great. It looks like a real solid piece, and I'm really excited to use it. No, these are 12-inch tines. So there you go, 12-inch tines. I'm going to take this outside, and I am going to get a little bit of work done in the chamomile bed. Chamomile this year is going to be, I think that's a 30-foot row. About 4 foot by 30 is gonna be the size of my chamomile bed this year. I'm gonna put one little walkway in the middle, so it'll be broke up about a foot in there. So 29 by 4 is what I'm looking at, and we're just going to broadcast that chamomile out. It's what I've done every year. As long as you keep it sunny, which we don't have that problem, and you keep it moist until the time it germinates, which again, we won't have that problem. We won't have to worry about it drying out. Then it should do fabulously. So we're gonna go ahead and go outside and get this started. I'm not gonna film a bunch outside because I don't know if you can hear that wind out there, but it is super windy today. So I'm going to just kind of set you guys up, and then we can come back in and talk about what I think about this, and then we're gonna talk about some of the other things that we're gonna do to prep to get ready for growing. So let's get to it. Careful. Try and stand on it and wiggle side to side. Now jump. You think it's deep enough? Well, you can see. Give it a shot. All right, now you see all those grasses right there? Yep, pull them out. You loosen them and then you pull them out by the root. If it won't come out by the root, then you got to do another one right in front of it. Good job. Okay, we got all of the broad forking done for the chamomile. I was gonna do it pretty quick. It's actually easier than I thought it was gonna be in that spot, but my kids are like, I wanna turn. So we did the good mom thing and let the kids have a turn. Using the broad fork, we got it all done. I think that's actually a 40-foot row because that whole fence is 50 feet. I bet you that's a 40-foot. It might actually be a little bit longer than there. Anyway, regardless, we're gonna have a nice long row. I'm gonna have to measure it, but we're gonna have a nice long row of chamomile, and I forgot the chamomile seed. You know, the other thing that I was gonna plant a lot of was Blue Vervain, but not quite that much. So I'm contemplating maybe just putting a row of Blue Vervain in there and kind of changing up my plan a little bit. I may possibly do that. All right, so getting rows and everything ready for herbs. I mean, obviously same process as it is with vegetables, but it's a little bit different when the timing. I am not considering what I'm doing right now for our vegetable garden. That obviously is important. Obviously there's things that need to get done, and it's a totally raw space. I'm starting from scratch. So I do have to make it a priority to get rows together, to get, you know, my plastic down, to get my cattle panels up for the things that are going to be paneled or trellised. And that is a consideration, and it's something that I do need to start doing sooner rather than later. And I am picking away at it. I'm doing a little bit at a time, but herbs are going to get in the ground. A lot of herbs are going to get in the ground way sooner than my vegetables are. So some of the herbs are more of a priority. Some of them have a much longer germination time, but really benefit from being direct sowed. So the ones that I'm working on today, like chamomile, you could really do those at any point in time. I like to get them into the ground earlier because if you get chamomile into the ground earlier, it's one of those, the more you harvest, the more you get. So we've got good weather for it. I'm not anticipating us dipping down into the teens. If it happens, I'm watching weather very carefully once I've got seed in the ground. If that does happen, I will be putting plastic over, a clear plastic, a UV protectant, like a greenhouse kind of quality plastic that is going to go on top of that to help keep the heat and the moisture in the ground, and we don't have to worry about damaging those seedlings. So I've got plastic ready to go just in case that does happen. So moving forward, we're going to do chamomile seed, and then let's see, this feels very much empty, won't even ignite. So this is a dud. So I'm not going to be able to get the St. John's wort in the ground today either. It's not a good start to the day, is it, Caleb? We're going to plant the Blue Vervain. Now, Blue Vervain, I think I might go ahead and put plastic over because with Blue Vervain, it likes to take off. It likes to go in other areas. So I've had it happen in the past. Last year, as a matter of fact, I put the Blue Vervain seed down where I wanted it to go, and it decided it was going to move and go elsewhere. Now, the Blue Vervain seed is very light, much like chamomile, but Blue Vervain is, for some reason, it is going to grow where it wants to grow. So my plan is to put the Blue Vervain seed in the ground and then put the plastic over top. Because if I do that, 3 things are going to happen. 1, it's going to help keep the moisture in the ground. 2, it's going to greenhouse effect it, so it's going to help it germinate faster. And 3, once it's germinated, it's not going anywhere. Once it roots, it's not like it's going to pick itself up and go re-root itself somewhere else. Once you're rooted with Blue Vervain, you're good. But getting it to root, getting it to germinate where you planted it is a different story. So we're going to attempt that this year. I think that should work quite nicely. I'm going to talk to you about this. I hope you can actually see me and I'm not just a shadow. I'm going to, this is 500 seeds in this one. I think the Blue Vervain is about 100 seeds. And I'm just going to go ahead and broadcast over here. I've got greenhouse plastic ready to go that I'm going to put down on this whole thing. And hopefully our Blue Vervain will choose life in this area and it will not go live to be in another place. Yeah, there's 100 seeds in this. This is a brand new pack. So it is. I know it doesn't feel like 100 seeds. I'm gonna maybe babysit that plastic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. We are super teeny tiny. It doesn't look like 100 seeds either. But we're gonna see what we can see. All right, nope, you stay right there. I am going to... What I'm going to do is just kind of tamp it down. What? Hang on.
I like working in the garden.
Yeah, I like working in the garden too.
I'm gonna be having some of my own. I can't wait till we plant the zucchini and the dinosaur plant.
I don't want to put too much pressure on here, but you should tamp them down.
You can always tamp down plants. Sometimes you
bird seeds. There's no way. There we go. Now we need to water, and then we'll put plastic on. Straighten out. Go on this side. Woohoo! Perfect. All right, come on this side. And put, well, hurry before the wind grabs it. Grab the plastic. Pull. Your side, pull. There you go. All right. Perfect. Now we just got to get a couple other. Here, grab these two.
And we use them on the edges.
Nope. Go across like this. And then we will do edges.
Oh, I got mud on my,
Yeah, it's okay.
on my phone. Mud on my phone.
Mud on the phone. No. I think I still want a post here though. Just lay it down. Can't help you. All right, and just toss it to me. Perfect. Thank you. I think I. There we go. Thank you. Here we are. Woohoo! All right, we have got, it's very windy. Got some hair going here. We've got all of the Blue Vervain planted. I've got greenhouse plastic over top. Gave it a good water. I forgot to film that part, but I gave it a good water because we're trying to create a greenhouse effect here. So we want a good watering underneath there. And the soil was not dry, but it was not wet enough. So gave it a good water and put the greenhouse plastic over top. And it's super windy here, so I put T-posts and cattle panels down on top, you saw, so that should help hold it down. And that will also help expedite the germination process a little bit. So I should expect to see Blue Vervain germinate. This is 2 to 4 weeks. This is where I get my seeds from. This is strictly medicinal seeds. This is where I like to get my medicinal seeds from because there's a lot of different kinds of plants, right? So like if you're gonna get lavender, there's a lot of different types of lavender. If you're gonna get chamomile, there's a couple different kinds of chamomile and so on and so forth. So what I like about them is they're giving you the Latin name because you guys know when we are working with medicinal herbs, we're going after the Latin name. What are you doing? Oh, the puzzle? Cool. Oh, double-sided puzzle. That's pretty cool. She's playing with a puzzle. Okay. So we are going for the Latin name here, and this will ensure that you have the right herb for what you are wanting to do with it. So that's why one of the many reasons that I use strictly medicinal seeds, also the growing practices, and they're certified organic. And when you're talking about medicinal seeds, having an organic seed is very important. Now, there is a lot of debate out there. Well, not all seeds are GMO, or most seeds are not GMO because they only make certain types of GMO seeds. That is true. But there's also organic versus non-organic. And when it comes to medicinal seeds, we've had this conversation, that you need to have organic when it comes to your medicinal herbs. Now, if you know somebody that is not technically organic, like we are not technically organic because we're not certified, we haven't gone through that whole process, but we are regenerative. Our practices are regenerative. Everything we use on our farm either comes from our farm. So it's like the manure, the fertilizer, the compost, that is produced by our farm, or it comes from another farm that also has the same growing practices, or we use an organic, certified organic compost or certified organic fertilizer or something like that. Now, I haven't used fertilizer on my garden in a very long time. We have animals, and that takes care of all your fertilizing needs. You really don't need anything beyond a handful of rabbits or a flock of chickens, and that can provide all of your compost needs. But when you are getting your seed, And when you're considering amending soil and things like that, you want to make sure that it's either certified organic or it is regenerative, or you know the farm, you know the people, the place that you are getting this stuff from. Not a great story. The first year that we tried to grow anything out here was in raised beds. And we got some compost and we put it in those raised beds. Thank God it was in raised beds. And that compost was absolutely horrible. There is no way that was an organic compost. We had really a lot of hot spots. It wasn't totally broken down, just complete crop failure in some of the things that we planted. It was really, really bad quality, and they claimed that it was organic, but it was not certified organic. There is a difference. So I think it's really important to know, not just where you're getting your stuff from, but who it's coming from, what the history is, how are they making it? Are they making it with their animals? Or are they making it, is it like leaf compost? Is it, what kind of compost is it? Just what is the history of it? Don't be afraid to ask questions, because this is your garden. This is either your medicine, if you're growing medicinal herbs, or your food that you're putting into your body. And if you are going through all the trouble to grow the food and to preserve it and make all the good, healthy things for your family, do you really want contaminated compost? I don't ever want that again. But getting back to it, there are a lot of instructions on these seed packets. So you probably can't see, it's probably backwards on there. So I'll just read to you what is on Blue Vervain. It tells you the zone, that it's perennial from zones 3 to 7. So this gets established there. It can be there, or I can pull it out and plant something else there next year. It's totally my decision. They get about 3 feet tall, blue little flowers. Plant prefers more moist soil and full sun to parched shade, thriving in a garden or prairie. Sow seeds on the surface, barely covering. That's why I just tamped. I didn't bury them, you know what I mean? Tamp it well. Best to sow outdoors in the cool soils of early spring. So here we are, cool soils of early spring. And alternatively, mix seed in moist, medium, and refrigerate for 2 weeks if you want, then sow it warm. So that's pretty much a little bit of a cold stratification. So what cold stratification is, in case you're not familiar with the term, it is the practice of basically creating a dormancy period for the seeds before they will happily germinate and be productive, healthy, strong plants. Now, some seeds are suggested to have a cold stratification period, but they will still germinate without it. Like lavender is the best one I can give you. If you do not cold stratify some lavender seeds, they will still germinate. However, they'll be spotty germination, or they won't be as vigorous plants. So really going through the whole process of what it suggests that it should have is a good idea. So planting this in the ground while the soil is still cool is going to give it exactly what it needs to be able to thrive. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to risk what if you're like what we were talking about earlier, what if it gets really cold, you have a cold snap, things freeze, you lose your seedlings. If you don't want to risk that, you can make soil blocks, or make, you can do it with just a wet paper towel if you want, and then you can plant those seeds. But you can put those seeds either in soil blocks or in a wet paper towel, put it in your fridge in a bag and let it sit for 2 weeks, and then you can take it out and either plant them or take those soil blocks and put them right on a heat mat. And then you are starting your plants. Once they're warm, you can transplant them into the ground. They prefer to germinate in the soil. I have never even attempted to start them and then transplant them. I have heard many people say it doesn't go well, so just direct sow Blue Vervain. So that's what I do. So I tried to space these. This space plants 1 to 2 feet apart. I tried to do that. Those are pretty small seeds. They're probably going to be fine. I don't think I'm going to have to thin much of anything. Now, I will be honest here. This says 100 seeds. This is a brand new packet. There's no way that was 100 seeds in here. There's no way. And I have had that issue a few times with this company where they're like, oh, there's 500 seeds in here. No, ma'am. No, there's not. I'm not going to sit here and count 500 seeds, but you plant enough seeds, you know what 500 seeds look like, and it was not. So that's my only gripe that I've ever had with this company. It is not a regular occurrence, but it is a sometimes occurrence. And that is very frustrating when it does happen. That is Blue Vervain. We've got our first crop officially in the ground. I'm super excited for it. I did do a little bit of a walk around and I see our mugwort popping up, lemon balm's coming up, catnip's coming up, mullein is coming up. There's a lot that is starting to pop up. So I would love to hear in your area. We're in zone 5B, I guess now. I don't know. I don't even know what we're in now. And things are already coming. So I'd love to hear what your zone is and what you have already seen coming in your area. I'm super excited for this season. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm already getting things going. I'm already getting infrastructure moving. This year is the year of infrastructure on our farm, and there's going to be a lot going into things, and it's super exciting. Super exciting. I am also going to leave you the link for that broad fork that I have. It is not a cheap item. However, I like to put some money where I can. Usually once a year, I will pick something that I'm going to put some money into. So it's actually two things. It was the greenhouse that's still sitting behind me here on the ground and the broad fork. Those were the two investments this year. Last year for this year. And those are going to serve really, really, really well. I really feel like that broad fork blew through that row so fast. It was so easy to do. I am in love with it. Now, it is a full body workout. It is not the easiest thing to do if you've got a super clayey soil or a super dry soil. It's a good workout. So, but you can use that in pretty much any conditions. You can use it with mud. We've got stumps in there. We'll occasionally come across a pretty big rock and it doesn't mess it up. So like if you've got one of those cheaper like aluminum frame ones or the ones with the fiberglass poles, it's probably going to end up breaking. So I would highly suggest if you're going to invest in a broad fork to get one that is made of steel, because this sucker is going to be a workhorse for you. It is going to last. I also, you guys know, I have a really bad back. I've got an autoimmune disease that attacks my spine, and I did that with ease, and my back did not hurt. My back is only starting to get sore now because I've been working all afternoon, but it was totally fine during that. It was great, and I'm excited to use it on many more rows. So if you guys like this video, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. It tells YouTube that you like us and you want to see more of us. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you hit that. I need to go rest my voice. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.